Good afternoon, Franklin Academy. I'm Stephen Kishpaw.
And I'm Julia Allen.
And you're watching The High School Experience. Our robotics team is one of our most successful clubs, but they're relatively unknown to the general FA student.
Ethan LaRue talked to Mr. Seislinger and other robotics members to find out more about this unique club.
As some of you may know, the robotics team has been doing very good this year. We interviewed Mr. Seislinger and students in the robotics club to find out more.
The robotics team has built 3 different robots. They've designed, constructed, and tested each of those 3, each one becoming ever more complex and competitive. I was very, very nervous. The qualifier turned out rather well. The team finished up in the initial set of matches. They won 5 out of 6 and made it into the semifinals. In the semifinals, the team has to win 2 of 3 to go on to the finals. They lost the first match and then came back and won the next 2. In the finals, which again is winning the best 2 out of 3, the team lost the first one, and in the second match, their partner had a major failure and they essentially had to play 2-on-1 and were able to win that match, but ended up losing the final match. So the only way that we would qualify for states was to win the all-around award, which was a rather anxious set of moments because the awards that we would normally win for design and innovation, we were finishing in second place. And what we didn't realize until the very end when they announced that we were the overall winner at the tournament is that we, as the winner of the overall tournament, we couldn't win any of the other awards, which is why we were coming in second and third place in those. I expect us to win states. Simple as that.
I think weekly for off season, we only spend like an hour a day after school, but then during the on season, especially when competitions are coming up, we will spend easily at least 3 hours after school, up to 6. Now that we're going to states, we were really excited that we had gotten picked for the Inspire Award, which moves us directly onto states because we were disappointed that we had came once again second at the final match.
Hi, I'm Ashton Glorious, and for anyone who's interested in joining the robotics club, I would definitely say look into it because I didn't really know anything about robotics before I joined, but I've learned so much and been able to learn about engineering and software and logging stuff in our engineering notebook. And it's a great way to develop cooperation skills and collaboration skills with other team members.
We're all very proud of the robotics team this year. Keep up the hard work. Now back to the news desk.
Stephen, do you know anything about Groundhog's Day?
The holiday? Not really. It's not really celebrated.
Well, Tyler Alarte has more information on the matter.
Thank you, Stephen. 2 days ago on Groundhog's Day, Hookstony Phil walked out and didn't see a shadow. This means spring is coming early this year. But the question on everyone's minds today is, what is the purpose of this unique holiday?
Groundhog Day goes back to the German tradition of Dachstag, which loosely translates to Badger Day, which coincidentally was also February 2nd in Germany. People would go find a badger in a badger hole, and if the badger came out and saw his shadow or didn't, it would offset the beginning of spring by about 4 weeks. The Pennsylvania Dutch settled in western Pennsylvania and brought a lot of German traditions with them to the area. So when it came to talking about Groundhog Day, instead of using a badger, not indigenous to the area, they thought a groundhog, a whistle pig might work. So every February 2nd, In Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, the capital of Groundhog Day, Punxsutawney Phil comes out of his hole. If he sees his shadow, he's frightened and goes back into his hole for 6 more weeks of winter. But if it's a cloudy day and he doesn't see his shadow, then spring will begin early.
A groundhog is some kind of rodent? I don't know if there's really a thought process. The only thing I do know is it's right in the middle between winter solstice and spring equinox, which I do know that groundhogs actually come out looking for a mate. That's why they come out in the middle of the season of their hibernation. And I don't know if it really gets scared. I think it looks around and there's a bunch of people staring at it, so it gets freaked out. So it's a fun holiday, but I don't think it has any merit behind it.
I don't know if I would go as far to say necessary, but I do think it is a good holiday that, again, brings some attention to certain things. It does have a cultural association with it. Like, I don't know if students are aware of this, probably a lot of our staff are, but in 1993 they produced a movie called Groundhog Day, and it had Bill Murray, and so you see a lot of cultural references to it, so therefore necessary, no, but on the other side of the coin, I do think it's worthy to bring some attention to something that has some fun roots to it.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it's important to me. I think it's a pretty cool novelty, and certainly I go on the internet or I watch a news clip about, well, what did Punxsutawney Phil see? In Raleigh, in downtown, they have a little groundhog named Sir Walter Wally that crawls out of his cage and sees his shadow or doesn't. Yeah, I'm at least moderately interested. Is it something that's very important to me? No.
Thank you guys. Back to the news desk.
You know how the school is full of pretty smart people?
Yeah, the academic competition at the school is pretty insane.
Well, Livy Delage went to interview some FA students about scholarships they've received and how they got them.
Hello, Franklin Academy. I'm Livy Delage. With college approaching, our senior class has received lots of scholarships. Let's find out more.
Okay, so there's a lot of opportunities for scholarships all around. There are local scholarships, there are scholarships that are specialized to the school that you're going to, and there are also scholarships that are like around the country.
It's very important because my mom has to send 4 kids to college and through college, and so like getting scholarships and getting money to help reduce the financial burden is very important to me. So that's why I've been applying to a lot of places. I've gotten one from the University of Missouri, and I got one from Creighton University. It's basically like their diversity scholarship and whatnot. So I've applied to quite a few scholarships. I'm waiting currently to hear back from Ohio State about their, I forget what it's called, but it's like $10,000 a year.
And then also things that are unique about you. So like if you're left-handed, if you enjoy playing basketball, anything like that, look that up on Google and put scholarships behind it, and sometimes you'll be surprised at what comes up.
Like very helpful in reducing the cost for each school since both of the schools are out of state.
I also encourage you guys to look into the colleges that you're applying to. Looking at their scholarship portals will be very helpful. Some colleges even have application pages where you can fill out one application and it puts you in for any scholarship that you're eligible for. So look for those as well.
It's very important to apply for scholarships, especially if you're in dire need of money and you don't want to pay off student loans until you're 35, like my mom did. So my best advice is to apply to the scholarships you think you'll get, and apply to scholarships even if you're not interested in it. There's a bunch of, my mom says there's a bunch of money out there just floating around that nobody tries to get. And so even if you see one that you don't think you'll get, or that doesn't really interest you, that you should apply to it, because any amount of money helps.
24 students have reported they have received a scholarship. In total, our class has received over $1.5 million.
Congratulations to all our scholarship recipients. Now back to the news desk.
You know about the new carpool rules, right?
Yeah, it's so difficult to get out of the parking lot.
Have you ever thought about how it affects the people who live out there?
Not really.
Well, let's go to Heidi DeLoach to find out more.
As you know, we have many student drivers that park on the street. We interviewed a student driver to get an inside look.
I do. It'd be nice because I get here so early and then it's really cold and I don't like having to walk all the way up. And a lot of times I have doctor's appointments right after school that I could make on time if I parked in the parking lot, but I have to leave early from school so I can get out and get on my way. Well, I have a 0 period, so I just come here around 7:10, and there's maybe already 4 cars there, but I don't have to come super early because I already have an earlier class.
Thanks for watching. Back to the news desk.
That's all we have for this week. For the high school experience, I'm Julia Allen.
And I'm Stephen Kishbaugh, signing off.